down to the 48 cars through, so the payload hasn't got across the timing beam yet, but who's the other one missing? Paul will work that out for us as we see the leaders then coming through.
We've all come down here this year in order to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the 1927 Le Mans win, which was very significant because had the car not won in 1927, there was no doubt that Bentley Motors would have withdrawn from racing. And, well, it's a testament to the quality of the cars that you can get a turnout like this, that you can get 112 cars, none of which is much less than 70 years old here.
Personally, why am I here? I'm here because I'm partly, if not mainly, responsible for the organisation of this trip of the 130 cars. And that's why I'm hiding in this restaurant, enjoying a good meal, because it will probably be the last one I'll get in the next 2 or 3 days. Certainly the last time I'll get a sleep before Sunday evening, no doubt. Now, who's got the map? Oh, I've got the map. Suppose we ought to decide where we're going. Can you tell me the number of that road there?
Well, it goes from 13.
No, the number of it. That's the kilometres.
Sorry, 7.
It's the 16 or the 26, I hope. We're lost and we're not out of Calais. Okay.
You navigate, I'll drive.
Right. It's a very special year. It's the 70th anniversary of the celebration of a very famous Bentley win at Le Mans, and both the French and the Bentley Drivers Club are very proud of that achievement. The French are pleased we're here, and we're pleased to be here.
I can smell France now here. Maybe it's olive oil.
Now, it's warm engine oil you can smell. Lovely. Garlic flavoured. 130 odd vehicles coming down, all Bentleys, over 100 are vintage, and we're intending to do a 3-lap circuitry round the full circuit before the race, a few hours before the main 24-hour race. Hopefully it will be good fun for us, and it will be certainly entertainment for the public, and there'll be probably as many as 1 million folk watching the race live, so you can understand why the French want to make a decent celebration of it. It actually holds 50 gallons. Not that I'm going to put 50 gallons in it. It does about 10 to the gallon. That's on a run. Around town it does about 9, 8.5, 9. Well, that will take us another 100 miles down the road. Thank you.
I think the biggest problem coming down was the rain. But the hood was up, the hood was down, and of course being a traditional Bentley driver you always want to try and keep the hood down if you can. But occasionally the elements, I'm afraid, got the better of us. But in terms of the way the cars ran, I think everyone had a good run down. There's only one 6.5 that I know ran its big ends on the way down from Calais.
We're getting wet. We want to be out of here. Here we go.
Came down formation with the 3 litre there, and we both took turns of setting the pace, and we both managed to put in a good turn of speed.
Right, we're out of here.
She was as good as gold, I'm delighted to say.
Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Now, we've got the Zimmer frame on the back here for you. We carry it everywhere we go.
And the poor old soul.
Are you, now, come along, Pia. Hop in.
And look, Pia, what I've got for you. Oh, that's brilliant.
Right, I've changed hats now too. Just my ears might get cold. Dear, dear. Right, you ready?
Yep.
Fit?
Ready?
Okay.
we took an overnight crossing from Portsmouth to Cherbourg. We had a very early start yesterday morning. Came off the boat, it was raining quite hard. We did quite a few miles with the hood down, and then the rain got quite heavy. So we put the hood up and down 3 times on our journey here, and we arrived mid-afternoon, quite weary. Very pleased to be here, along with lots and lots of other fine Bentleys. This particular car has raced a lot at Brooklands, raced at Brooklands before the war, and this is my big opportunity to take the car around the circuit at Le Mans, which is the highlight and aim, I would imagine, of every vintage Bentley owner, because at Le Mans Bentleys did so well in the 20s, and to be able to do this again is the absolute ultimate, particularly immediately before the famous 24-hour race and in front of so many people, and we should be able to promote the British name of Bentley. Nothing.
In and out, I've heard that before.
Yes, we've got brake here and nothing there.
Yeah.
It's that point. Yep. Well, I think we'll go back to where we had dull rear lights. Yeah. And we'll forget the brake. Right, we've fixed the lights. We've got 1 dull rear light, and we've just bought 2 cycle rear lights, so we shall be all right for any night driving, and we shall safely get back to England with some decent rear lights, and we won't be picked up by the French police, I hope, and fined 900 francs on the road.
Well, it's an exciting opportunity. I think even wives can enjoy something of this nature. I don't think you have to be a man to enjoy vintage motoring at all. And I certainly think that we can all take pleasure in something of this magnitude. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I'm very happy that we've been able to make it this year. I've always tried to support John with his vintage motoring. I'm quite happy to sit in the passenger seat. I don't drive the cars myself, but I'm always perfectly happy to go along and as a passenger.
First stop, a decent lunch. We must have done 150 miles, I think. We set off from there. We're now there on the river, and there's Le Mans. So we're halfway to Le Mans, and then we've got a quick squirt down to Tours. Take us about an hour.
Coquille de poisson, potatoes with fish.
Yeah,
And
pork with onions. And of course it's with frites, so you can have chips with everything.
Chips with everything.
Yeah.
No.
Why am I here? Why am I? Well, because it's a damn fine restaurant. And the food is good in this place. In fact, it's so good I think we should stay here. Bugger them all, let's stay here and eat. Yeah. Well, it looks good and it sounds good. I think we should propose a toast to the women, because normally we're down here without the girls. This is the first time in 18 years that I've had a lady down here who purports to be my wife anyway. So. Brian, why are you here?
Well, I'm extremely privileged. I mean, I've been here for years and years, sponging off you every single time, Tony. I think, I'm a very lucky chap.
Well, that's all right, you can pay for lunch.
So I generally do that as well.
Let's have a toast to the ladies, shall we?
We've been so busy for the last 18 years.
Well, maybe Brian will have another 18 years of cheers.
Freedom in France.
Freedom, here's to freedom in France. And I'd also like to propose a toast to W.O. Bentley.
Yeah, the W.O.
Yes, coupled with, on this occasion, green umbrella.
Yep, well done.
Lovely.
Find the others now.
It's a very convenient bridge, this, but we're slightly on the wet side, I'm afraid.
Very wet. And I left my raincoat at home. That's the price you have to pay to go in this lovely car.
The rain was getting in my eyes and just had to stop for a second and dry out, but we'll be all right. Okay, I've now got a nice wet seat. I've just stood on it, but never mind. Right, wagons roll.
We've done a fair amount of touring over the years, not only in Europe with cars, but we've had the unique opportunity of touring with cars in the States, across USA and then up the West Coast. I guess this weekend for us is a climax. It's one of those special opportunities in life. Great fun, great chance to be driving around this historic circuit with these historic cars, these enduring cars. Home I used Sturgis, my AA man told my mother 30 years ago, Sturgis. Non-abrasive, doesn't smear, does wonders for woolens, great for cars as well.
This car in particular, this was owned by one family for 51 years before I bought it. It was originally sold to W.O. Bentley's brother-in-law, who rather oddly insisted that it should be equipped with Bosch electrics, which can't have pleased W.O. because he was a great fanatic in using all things British, and it was rather exceptional. I've taken it to South Africa, I've been all over the place with it, and it's a thoroughly joyous piece of machinery. I can hardly imagine life without it.
Right, it's T-brake, P-brake in the crappery over there. It's tradition on many of our excursions that we've always stopped here, parked up by the cathedral, and sat there and got well and truly oiled. We've only got 10 minutes, really, but we can have a go. It's about the 20th time I've stopped here, I would say, in the last few years. I'm just undoing the bonnet, look at the carbs to make sure that my floats are all right, because they've been sticking a wee bit. No, that's all right. Well, after that run, what have we done? About 350 miles now. We've got a little bit of an oil leak, slight water leak, nothing unusual. Not bad, considering we were cracking on at about 80, 85 most of the time. What's the speed limit here? 70? Oh, we're probably doing about 70 then. It's unfair of me to impose upon you 20-odd years of tradition established by a small group of folk from the Bentley Drivers Club who come down here every year. This trip is not about that, really. It's about our celebration for the club. So coming here is a tradition, but not a tradition of the club. That's why there's no pictures on the wall. It's just purely a personal thing with myself and a group of others. You know, thank you. On occasion I've heard what I thought was a Bentley, and I've looked around and it's been a Harley Davidson. It's quite remarkable. Move the car forward. We've got something... No, we've got something wrong. We've got to move it forward a little, find out what this is.
Looks like petrol to me.
Yes, looks like petrol. Don't really want a hole in a petrol tank, do we?
This is Bentley Eye. Can you see that? Just from the wind.
Front wheel casing?
Well, interesting thing is, Brian, we don't... Oh! It's dripping onto the crown wheel from the underside of the seat, and it may be rainwater. I'll have to go around and look from the other side.
Yes, I think it's rainwater.
I think it's rainwater too.
I think it would have to be soaking inside to do that, and it isn't.
Ah! I think I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. Ah, it's my secret supply. You enthusiastic chaps on the back seat, yes. You'll learn some secrets. I know what that is. I think. Will you help me, Brian? Lift this off. Yeah. We always have to carry spare water, and we hide it away. It's okay, that'll do. And we pull this forward, yeah. And I think the answer is one of our bottles is leaking.
Well, that one's not got as much in, to be honest.
Ah,
wouldn't describe this as mechanical failure.
No, but I think that's fine because we can deal with that.
Oh, it really is dripping, isn't it?
I mean, that's how you solve problems. That was easy, wasn't it? There.
Embarkation.
But for a large lunch, a nice cup of tea, we wouldn't be late. All these things are sent to delay us, really. I feel like we've just done a Formula One.
Yes. It seemed a long trek, didn't it, really? Especially that last bit.
Well, at least others are only just arriving.
The last bit always seems longest, doesn't it?
Yes.
And that last bit certainly was, and getting a bit cold, too.
I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Look at all these Bentleys. What a sight. A wonderful, wonderful sight. You've spent too much time filming my car, and there's so many wonderful cars here to look at. Mine's wonderful too, but, oh, you must spend hours. We'll go round and look at them all, and we'll talk to all the owners. It'll be lovely.
Oh, hello. You just arrived? Well, no, you haven't.
I know, we've been here for ages.
So what have you come down here?
Only 4.5.
Good.
Well, have you just come down from the Spey, have you? Or are you just going off somewhere to... I bet there's a good fly rod in there, isn't there?
Terry, do you love Terry? Love him. I'm bloody pleased I've met you.
I'm pleased you've met me too, because now somebody else can feature in the film.
Oh dear me.
This is Andrew. He took the easy route. He was supposed to be on our boat. He was going to come down with us, and he chickened out, and you came from...
I spent all day yesterday phoning you.
No,
At home you weren't in, you don't write, you don't phone.
I still love you. It's just,
I'm getting very busy. And I've come here to be prepared.
With fishing rods.
So we're going to have a drink.
No, we love drinking.
You're going to have a beer then?
So coming or going?
I'm going fishing on the way back.
Where to?
I'm not actually, I'm going...
No. Soon, it'll be ready soon. That's your hair.
I need to change a plug. We haven't got our own screwdrivers, but you've got loads.
The question is whether it's Phillips or plain head. That's the.
It's just a normal one.
We've got everything here. We can even boil a kettle. Once we get the exhaust back on, we can stand a kettle there. You'll be just fine.
Oh, is that what
you can have your own.
And a
That's
beer?
what this is all about. Oh, Mark, they've seen the beer. That was a bit of a giveaway, I think.
I noticed that out the window.
Yes,
we spotted that.
You didn't actually come to see how we were getting on. You just saw the beer on the.
Well, no, we came to tell you we need a screwdriver. And
Well, don't worry about fixing the hairdryer. When this is going, just put the head down behind the exhaust pipe.
Have you dried my jeans yet?
Your jeans are drying a treat on the back.
My t-shirt's drying on your car, Mark, so don't lose it. We're going to be by the pool if you need us. Most impressive though, Chad.
Final polish.
Right, so we're going to
We'll catch you later, guys.
Badge. Don't forget your badge. Bentley badge.
Badge?
No badge. Badge on.
What? Not the infamous Bentley Widows. Is that really a chassis number? Surely not. A 34B.
I lied.
Okay, so you lied. Coachwork by Pepe. Historical notes. Reputedly travels well in old cars, but runs well on Baileys. I can see this. I can see the secret now. Okay, we'll see you later anyway.
Right, pull.
They were just trying to get these gaskets, which aren't new ones. I'm just trying to clean them up. We'll put them back with some fire gums to make a gas-type fit. And hopefully the run home will be nice and quiet with no popping back. That's what it's all about.
Oh, right. Have I got your name on the list? I bet I haven't. Did you talk to Club earlier about it? Oh yes, there you are.
Right.
Yes, l'Abbé Le Poe. It's in your notes. You'll find it. Anyway, we'll see. You'll be at the Abbey later. That's the important thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Right,
Bye.
Bye. We're off for gin and tonic now.
And it's only 11:30.
I think from a woman's point of view, I don't see why she cannot share in with her husband's enthusiasm 8 years ago I came down, I made up the numbers, and I was down with about 15 other guys. As long as I drank beer and kept out of the way at certain times, I thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, they bought me a Reliant Robin key ring to remember it by.
Hello, Neddy.
Oh, hello.
Will you do this parade, or are you going? Or are you?
No, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm here for the duration. And
I haven't got your name down on here. You see.
Well, I'm J. Peasmold Grunt.
Oh yes, I have. Yes, you're Strickland, aren't you?
No.
Right, now you're going to be...
What am I doing?
Well, you're in the parade.
Okay.
You've got to be in the square, the
right.
by the cathedral at 4:30.
By Lemons.
Yes.
Right.
By the Lemons Cathedral,
Yes.
all ready to take around some obscure driver who drove in the Le Mans in 52.
Maurice Trintignant or someone.
No, oh, he's famous, no.
Yeah, oh, I see.
No.
An obscure one.
No.
Me.
And does your dog bite, remember? So if you can do that, and you will be given your Union Jack to wave.
Okay.
And in the back seat you'll have
I'm
two
ambidextrous. Can I use my left hand?
No.
Oh, why?
No. It's a right-hand wave. I'm
But
sorry
it's
about
right-hand
that.
gear,
Well, it's drive on the right. Well, too bad. I mean, you are in France. We must offer them some concessions.
Every time I get in the car, I feel I'm paying a tribute to W.O. Bentley, really the founder of the company, and we're driving moving archaeology. These are mobile museums, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to take these out and give such a tribute to W.O. each time we go.
We're meeting in a square adjacent to the cathedral later this afternoon with at least 15 Bentleys, vintage Bentleys. The French are so enthusiastic about Bentleys and the success of Bentleys in 1927, which is why we're here, of course, that they want us to have a parade. And they want us to take the drivers who are driving in today's race, or tomorrow's race, I should say, around the town. And when they do it in a spectacular fashion. There'll be dancing girls, there'll be bands, there'll be a really extravagant extravaganza. And people will enjoy it, will enjoy it. Most of all, of course, they love the British Bentleys.
The whole point about the Bentley Pirates Club is it is a collection of wonderful ancient machines and very eccentric people gathered together to have a lot of fun with cars that they enjoy. But this is I suppose this is the biggest collection of vintage Bentleys I've seen for some time. It's a great adventure, isn't it, really, to bring a piece of machinery that's, how old is it, 68 years old, and get back, hopefully in one piece. Yeah.
We've just come down here and driven 600 miles from the north of England to enjoy ourselves, to see the race.
We've got 3 laps to do tomorrow, and that's the best part of the knees up. Yes.
I don't do many Bentley events, but we decided we'd come on this one because it's a nice thing to do.
Hawaiian Tropic.
All the Bentley drivers I know are very keen Hawaiian Tropic drinkers.
I've got Rita with me. It's her first trip to Le Mans, and I'm sure that she's enjoying herself, and she clearly wants to come.
I wish the weather was better though.
Just a matter of interest, do you realise what this young lady who's travelling with us today is advertising and sponsoring? Can you tell us, Dawn?
Well, Hawaiian Tropic is a protective sun care product. Unfortunately, today's not a very good day for it, but I'm trying to make the best of it anyway.
Does it deal with rust as well as sun care? Because if we're all going to get wet, we'll probably go rusty as well.
Right now.
Even got that gun, you might use it.
Look in the Bentley register, there are 25 vintage Bentleys on Guernsey. The island lists slightly when they all come out together. But there are, I think there are 4 8-litres. There are 4 speed 6s, 6 speed 6s, and the others are 4.5 and 3 litres. But the trouble is we can't all drive all the cars.
No. Came in 1969. WO gave it us all the monster art, you see. And there's about a dozen of us dashed across the track and jumped in the car. Well, I always remember jumping in, and the first thing happened, gear stick went down my trouser leg, and I think I was one of the last to start, but never mind, it was quite good fun.
Amazing just how many people have turned out in this wet weather. Yeah. It's times like this when you've got a vintage car, when we get pleasure with using them, and it's certainly giving the audience here, thousands of people, the same sort of pleasure that we have with driving these cars. Okay, hurry up. Yeah, but watch your temperature, David, and your clutch, for goodness sake, because it's too dodgy to... We'll be alright if we can keep going at the speed. That's good.
It's amazing how many people there are here. I never expected them to be so many. It really is fun. And they're so enthusiastic. It's delightful to find a crowd who really enjoy doing exactly what we enjoy doing, looking after nice motor cars and appreciating them.
Yeah, that's the effect of a clap now, magic. Yeah.
I'd like to make an amendment to the video because I said that every Bentley driver enjoys an Hawaiian Tropic until I found out it's actually a suntan lotion. So they were not that pleased with me, but we had a good time with her.
Yes?
Yeah, she's a bit of a slip. She's going to be in Baywatch apparently in July.
Oh, right.
Which was very exciting for
I
us.
can understand that. We had Martin Brundle, who I didn't realise who it was. We were just given 3 drivers at the last minute and they tumbled in. And they kept saying, good luck Martin, good luck Martin. And I said, I obviously know you down here. I said, who are you? So he said, my name's Martin Brundle and I'm driving for Nissan. We want to know what we were paid for taking them around the course. I said, well, no, it's complimentary actually. Yeah. That's a very nice chat. Very good.
Hawaiian Tropic said that they hired a GT40 for 3 days and they paid $30,000 for it. So I suppose that's what we should expect, isn't it? About the same?
That would be a nice touch, or perhaps $29,999, I don't know. One always tries to do a deal.
He seemed to think that was quite a sort of serious amount for us to charge. So the £500 was quite modest.
No, because unless I do the cars, I won't know who's done what. Is that you?
Yes.
You can't get out to the circuit and back in without that.
Do you?
Hello, how are you? Good to see you, if but briefly. That's everybody here, I hope. What car is it, a Bentley?
It's got a Bentley, yeah, and it's broken down out there, and we've actually got a...
Can I just explain to you, I've only got 1 ticket per Bentley car,
right,
and I'm systematically giving each car a ticket. God help you if I'm 1 short. How was your din-din last night? Good?
It was a terribly hard job, but somebody had to do it.
I realise that.
I'm glad I was able to relieve you of the burden of going to that.
Oh, I'm pleased you did, because I really did want to overheat, bugger my car up, get soaking wet, get lost, turn up late, get shouted at by police. I really wanted all of that.
No, in front of the passenger's eyes.
Chris, would you like to put those in those plastic containers, please? Well, panic mode is subsiding now. It's supposed to go on the windscreen. Why is it everybody else is now organised and we're in total disarray here?
How do we walk in unofficially?
As long as somebody can bring the tickets into the circuit, I think you're all right from then on in. You've left them behind, haven't you? But I mean,
no, somebody can bring the tickets in.
That must be all right. Yeah. I think.
I thought you stuck that down, Christine. Well, you didn't. I mean, you peel the protective paper off and then it sticks. That's the intention. Still people coming in. Smudger, must have that in your windscreen, otherwise you won't get back in if you take your car out. On your windscreen, if you don't have that when you leave, you won't get back in the circuit. Ah, there's the chap that's going to be here early. Have you just arrived? Oh dear, don't know how you managed that. You must have that on your windscreen. Right. You didn't follow your map you were given, did you?
No, what we did was, when we came along, we saw all these signs, Le Mans, DPS hill.
And so you followed them?
And we thought...
It clearly says on your map, follow the sign to Mulsanne. Never mind.
Better late than never. We got completely lost, didn't we? Totally lost. Followed the wrong signs. Anyway, we're here. It's going to be an absolutely cracking day. Absolutely cracking. Absolutely wonderful.
Damn, all these people pouring in.
All right, David. Trying to get the towel dry. Nice to see you again. Good morning. Do you know who we had with us yesterday, Tony? We had Miss Louisiana on board. Beauty Queen from Louisiana. Yeah. Yeah. There are still traces of a blonde hair on my tonneau at the back.
I'll tell the wife when we see her.
You know Ernest Smith?
Yeah.
Ernest leans out with his camera and says, I'm sending this to the Yorkshire Post, he says.
A bit of technical problem.
That's why we bring the wife. So that she can do little things like change the film in the camera.
And the head gasket on the Bentley.
Without me, we wouldn't be anywhere,
That's
would
it. We're there. Pictures for a rainy day.
Now I'm going to take a picture of this person.
Yeah, shall we take a picture of the man taking the pictures?
Yes, because he's becoming a nuisance.
We don't mean it really.
Hello, Jackie. Nice to see you. Can you smile for me?
Yes. Say cheese to the camera.
Cheese to the camera.
It's the 27 Le Mans Victory booklet, which Bentleys produced and gave away as sales promotion material. And I've had it reproduced for this weekend.
It looks very, very authentic. Absolutely
Very
nice. Yes. There's my car, you see.
That's you for that.
That's me, yes. I was younger then, you know.
Not much.
Slightly.
Slightly younger, yes. There's my car again, see on its side.
The bent one.
Yeah, it did go on its side.
Hello.
I rolled it over 3 years ago.
Happens to the best of them.
That's right. Marvellous. Right. Very attractive thing. Proper souvenir, really.
You like one?
Yes, please. Very much so. Right.
I'm lucky enough to have an original copy of this little booklet, which is something that Bentley Motors produced in 1927 to celebrate the victory at Le Mans that we're here to celebrate this weekend, and it's a very rare thing, and I just thought some people here might like to have a copy of it, so I've had it reproduced. Simple as that.
In terms of driving on the Le Mans circuit, that whether you race cars on racing circuits or do other European events like the Mille Miglia or competitive rallies, being actually on the Le Mans circuit itself has to be a special treat for us all, and indeed a great privilege for us all to be able to drive on that bit of hallowed racing circuit. So yes, I'm sure there'll be lots of emotions as we drive down the Mulsanne Straight, memories of WO in the 1920s.
The excitement of coming here and trying in a small way to recreate the 1927 event, which obviously we can't do, but to try and remember the extraordinary conditions that it was run under. There was no tarmac on the surface. It was just a loose gravel surface. These chaps drove very heavy cars very quickly. The tyres were very rudimentary. The pit work was very rudimentary. It was an astonishing achievement. It really was, to keep these cars going for 24 hours, for two people to have driven them for that entire time. It's really hard work, and it brings it home to you when you actually drive one on a circuit, particularly a sort of standardish one, just how difficult it was.
Front row of the grid. We're on parade, so it's important to look the part. They won't stay clean for long, mind. It looks like a decoration. Don't tell people that. It's a Birkin replica, actually. Decorators' overalls. But the part.
We just hope that everybody acts responsibly and nobody tries to really make a proper race of it, because we must stay behind that pace car, and there's a lot of enthusiasm here today and a lot of fast cars. So we hope it doesn't go to the heads of it. Andrew will stop it all. He's I've asked the folk at the front with me to politely stop overtakers, because if we go past the pace car, we're in trouble, because then all hell lets loose. It becomes a race. It's not what we're here for. We're here to show the cars to the people and do some spirited lappery, and that's all.
Can't wait. Looks good, and the sun's shining too.
Being on the grid before the start, there's so many vintage Bentleys. Everywhere you looked, there was vintage Bentleys. It was brilliant. And when they started their engines and the pace car went off, well, you could have got my grin from ear to ear. Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. Wow, isn't it? We'll try and catch up and then ease off a bit. Okay. I love this bit of banking. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh! Yes, that does slow you down a bit, doesn't it?
Part of the ethos of the car is these 5 great wins we had at the Mall. And in 1927, I think the 27 win was perhaps the most famous, because it really put the cars, the company, and the circuit on the map. It was a small village that was running this 24-hour race, and suddenly they had this remarkable victory, snatched out of the jaws of total defeat, and it summed up really everything that was great about the Bentley car, to my mind, a car that was able to go on wounded for many, many hours and win the race against the odds. And here they are now, 70 years on in many cases, and they're still running against the odds. And they're all running, giving everybody at least as much pleasure as they would have done on the day that they were delivered out of the factory. To my mind, that really sums up what this Bentley Club is all about and what this trip is all about.
I got it on British Steel.
Yes, we shan't race.
Oh,
we shan't try and win tomorrow.
We shan't race. In fact, I might let Pat drive round a bit as well.
Mind you, if you're going at 50, it sounds as if you're going about 120.
Not many Bentleys take people in the back seats because the back seat passengers get really hammered. I had my mother-in-law in the back before we had the screen on. When we got home, she had to go and sit down for 2 or 3 hours, and then she went to bed. She'd been so beaten about in the back of it. Putting that screen up, it just keeps you in an almost tranquil area where you can sit and relax and enjoy the trip. I mean, you're never going to be very comfortable in the back of a Bentley, but you put up with that because that's half the charisma of the car.
I would love to drive round the track, but I can't reach the pedals.
We'll be driving cautiously and making sure that we keep the car intact for the return home. I'd rather return home driving it and not rely on the RAC.
Just hoping I can stop in time if somebody else does slightly quickly. So if you've got 2 1/4 tons of machinery doing 70 odd, it takes a bit of stopping.
I think we should have been at the back. Yeah, well, we've got 3 laps to play anyway. So that's right, yeah, hold back a bit and then we can have a bit of fun. God, look at them all rearing round the corners. Are they lovely?
Brilliant, unbelievable. One off. Hundreds of Bentleys flat out. Mulch end straight. 3,500 revs. Just stuff to give them. 92 miles an hour. Wonderful.
Go on, Jock, pull those revs. Yeah, brother. I know.
That was a boyhood dream come true as far as I'm concerned. To actually be out there on the Mulsanne Straight in a 4.5, it didn't come any better.
We were moderately policed on the whole thing, but we were given the opportunity to let the cars go as we wished. Obviously there was a fair number with 130 odd cars on the circuit. Even with a long circuit like the Le Mans circuit, it was fairly crowded.
There they go. Let's get Philip. Oh, it goes on for miles. Oh God, this is the straight. Come on, Robin. Yeah, I know. Pull those revs, Robin, why don't you? Isn't it glorious? Well, now. Jockey's trying to keep it in, I think. John must be pulling some serious revs. I know. He'll get the bill at the end of the week.
He drives in a very spirited fashion. He could be a co-driver to Dr. Benjafield or someone, because, you know, it's maximum revs each gear and, what, 60, 70 miles an hour in third gear and up to an indicated 90 odd. You know, it's quite impressive.
A 3-litre can be great fun, but you have to stir the pudding. And this gives an exhilaration that you can imagine was created on the circuit. And I'm fortunate to enjoy a 1927 3-litre Bentley, which was, I suppose, was built as a replica of the Win in 1927.
Oh, nice little chicane. Yeah. Fly through the wet. No, it's not wet. Whoa.
There was one slightly dodgy moment. There was a bit of water on the track and I felt the back of the car go out, so I was trying a little bit too hard. Next time I went a little bit more slowly.
The jock's around. It's tight.
In error, someone was coming up on the outside of me and I just clipped the corner. I mean, the sort of thing that you've seen done before. And I mean, we weren't going particularly quickly, but swiftly enough, as a Bentley driver would, of course. And the back just went... It was just incredible. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to spin as I come into the pit straight. But anyway, it was all good fun. And then I was talking to another chap here and he'd done exactly the same. And obviously the 4.5s are just a bit twitchy on the back end. Modesty forbids me saying more, but if you were to give me another beer, I'll tell you the truth. Yes, it was a bit hairy.
There might be some competition. I think it'd be foolish if we were one to race one another. You only have to knock one another and you've done a lot of damage. And it doesn't come cheap.
How are we going to change places, Phil? Hold on! Ball just pull over, everyone.
As a 3-litre, albeit a 3-litre speed, it's not going to be the fastest car around the circuit. That's clearly not the objective of the event, however. And we were all really doing pretty well, much the same speed. Some cars a bit quicker down the straight and what have you. But I passed a few cars. I was trying reasonably hard, with all due respect to the car's 71 years of age. I didn't want to push it too hard. I took it up to about 70, and I think that's pretty kind on the engine, and it went very well indeed, and round the corners it performed very well. It's quick round the corners, and it was just fantastic to be able to do it, to have all those vintage Bentleys running alongside, passing them by, others passing on the circuit for which they were, so many of them were actually intended. Le Mans for the 24-hour race was, well, it was sensational and well worth the trip down here. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Well, we both have to have a chance, really. That poor Darby. I know. He's trying so hard. Struggling a bit, isn't he? Yeah. Oh, here we go. I know. Catch him now. lap, shouldn't I? See what lap time we're doing. Last. Come on. We should have done that, just for interesting. Go round again. Well, yes, we could do, yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what they did in those days, but the track is so different now, I suppose. Just take it more easy, Phil. Yeah, we're getting a bit long. All the big boys are now catching up now. Clouds of smoke pouring out of all the cars. Gallons of petrol. Come steaming down here, brakes full. Yeah. Roaring hot brakes. Yeah. Absolutely wonderful. What did you say about not missing gear changes? I know. Alright. I have to miss one gear change. Alright. Yeah. In the whole week. It'd be nice to have a 4.5, wouldn't it? We're going to try and make these chicanes clear this time. We've been bogged down each time so far. Yeah. Now we're going to get bogged down again. Yeah, it looks that way. Keep not too much, Bill. Glorious. Tremendous. There's too many of them, isn't there? And we're not going to get a clear spot, are we? Going by. They're slowing us down, I think. Yeah. That's it. Oh, no. We've had our fun, I think. Oh, glorious. Oh, jeez. That was something. Never had that before. That's lovely.
That was absolutely incredible. Just the honour of being able to go around the circuit, down the straight, absolutely incredible.
Glorious.
For the club to be able to organise that is absolutely amazing. Quite a good trip, really, this, isn't it?
Yes. But actually, yes, we were actually able to get a bit of speed and then enjoy the circuit.
Yes, exactly. I was worried that we were just going to have a pace car.
Exactly.
Wasn't going to allow us to do anything at all.
Precisely.
The trip round the circuit was obviously, it was not of a competitive nature, but it was still a lot of fun throwing it around. I had 2 passengers in the back, so I was trying not to make sure that they didn't get blown away. And yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm sure there'll be many pictures and many memories of it, and it will be something that will live with everybody until their dying day, I dare say.
Well, the most fun you can have with your clothes on. I think Stanley Mann originally said that, but I would certainly agree with him. Wonderful. That's fantastic.
My husband got quite carried away, went tearing round, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. No, that was a great feeling to actually be on the track ourselves. No, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, every minute.
Absolutely fantastic. Definitely for the ladies as well as the men.
The big problem now is scraping flies off your teeth with a big grin, you know, all the way around. No, it's incredible. 500 small boys out there going.
Great. Good. I've got to come back down to earth for the next 24 hours.
I think what really is magical is to imagine what it was like to have raced here and won here. Can you imagine what it was like thundering around in these things at 100 miles an hour for 24 hours? It's just mind-blowing.
I thought we were doing at least 150 miles an hour because I had the video going out and was taking the view from a different angle. It felt as if we were doing 150. I'm sure we were.
I was pressing down hard on the brake in the back, trying to slow it down. David tends to like to creep up on the inside of people.
What he did was he hung the back, you see, to give people a false sense of security, and then all of a sudden the foot was flat on the floor again.
We found the course car was too slow, really. And so we eventually decided, right, we'll drop back, and then when we come round the corners through these bends here, we can then have a real go up the straight. But then when I got there, I got boxed in. I couldn't get it going. We only got up to about 130. There's a lie for
you. There was a car alongside us, and this chap turned round to us, and we were sort of going side by side, and he said, "It doesn't get better than this." Isn't that lovely?
We took one of the French marshals around with us, which was enormous fun. So he was able to tell us all the curves as we went around the circuit. Enormous fun.
Got all the racing lines down
got done. That's fine art now. Yes, no problem. I could win them all tomorrow.
What did I think of it? Marvellous. Pretty about pace car, but never mind. A lot of people have said that. They're going to come without the pace car. Yeah, perhaps we could have had a Porsche or something in the front.
He was slowing down too much at the corners.
Yes, he got the hang of it on the
straight and hold you up.
Being director of the circuit, he'd know the line by now.
Perhaps he was just trying to find out which way he was going.
We saw one in the sand, and they decided to go much slower after that.
No, it wasn't us. No, a lot of rumours.
Just testing out the recovery system.
We're trying to create a new lap record. Unfortunately, it all went pear-shaped, and we decided not to bother. Marvellous diorama.
It was certainly fantastic going around the track this morning, but I think that's only the part of the weekend. It's really like a big pet fair, a real big party time. We got up this morning at 5 o'clock, and not really quite sure what time of the day it is, but we just keep eating, drinking and enjoying the weekend.
A friend of ours that rode down on a bike last night, through the night, and hasn't slept, so he's catching up in a few moments shut-eye, and we're providing the shelter.
We use it all the time. We're not worried about it, but I don't use it every day. But if I want to go anywhere, this is what we use. Whilst we don't abuse it, we don't cuddle it. The engine's been rebuilt, and mechanically it's A1.
That's a very neat way of mounting all this up. That's nicely done. I mean, that is a nice job, isn't it?
And it fits well, and there's a section in there so that if you've got to drop the cross of the pedals,
yeah,
the crossbar holding the pedals, you can.
I don't think I better open mine. You see all the oil that's coming out there.
Well, we had an electrical failure, the dynamo stopped charging, and then the magnetos decided not to switch off, so I had to stop the car by putting it into top gear, putting the handbrake on, and then just taking my foot slowly off the clutch, and because it bounces to a stop. It's not recommended, so we've had to rebuild the switching gear.
I find I want it as soft as possible. When I tighten them up too much, I find you get a
very hard ride. Yes.
On the car, and it's not much fun when it's like that.
It's quite a privilege to be able to drive around the circuit on the day with another 100 Bentleys. Great day.
We're looking forward to some good racing this afternoon. We'll all night come to that. And if we can stay awake, good. If we can't, we'll have to get up early in the morning and continue our viewing some more.
We're probably going to watch a couple of hours of the racing, and then I think we'll clear off and enjoy one of the French dinners.
Yes, I know there's another race going on, but we've had wonderful lappery around that circuit, and as far as we're concerned, we've done it. It will never be done again. We can go home thinking what a grand time, what a great success, and we've commemorated a magnificent achievement. We're here to celebrate the 1927 Le Mans win of the Bentley motor car. Although many people are obviously interested in today's race, our hearts are in the race that happened all those many years ago.
In the old days, only the drivers were allowed to work on the cars. It would be interesting to see how the modern drivers would get on if they were the only ones allowed to work on their cars. And I think in that respect we might beat them hands down.
So they come into the chicane at the end of lap 2. The first three cars running absolutely nose to tail. In the lead, Bob Walling. In second place is Eric van der Poel, and in third place, Michele Alboreto. Didier Tays in the Ferrari coming through in fourth place, and he's got queuing up behind him now, moving through the field is Emmanuel Ford. Behind him is JJ Letter. Then we have Didier Cotal, then Martin Brundle, and behind Martin